$900 million narcotics pipeline has just been exposed, Pete, revealing corruption and hidden routes across the American West.
At exactly 5:40 in the morning in California, the silence was shattered by the surprise raid of thousands of federal agents. What they found inside the abandoned warehouse was not just drugs, but the nerve center of a $900 million underground pipeline running smoothly right under the government's nose. From 18-wheel trucks disguised with terrifying sophistication to the black book of officials on the take, this was a criminal machine masquerading as a perfect logistics corporation. But this raid was only the tip of the iceberg. The real secret behind that steel door is about to be exposed. Hold on tight because the darkest truth about this network is coming out right now. All teams stand by for movement. We're taking the target down now. The clock strikes exactly 5:40 in the morning California time. A $900 million pipeline has just been dragged into the light. A total of 182 shipments stretching across 7 states, corrupt officials, and criminal routes buried deep underground. The Bakersfield raid was only the opening shot in a chain of earthquakes. Let me show you exactly how this colossal network started to collapse. At 2:14 in the morning, in a quiet, deserted corner of an industrial zone in Bakersfield, California, federal agents came face to face with something no one was mentally prepared for. From the outside, it looked like just another ordinary freight warehouse, but in reality, this was the national nerve center of the CJNG cartel moving drugs, cash, and corruption across America's highways. A routine surveillance check exploded into a full federal assault. In the blink of an eye, a $900 million drug pipeline was ripped open. As agents tightened the noose, the steel door slammed shut and 2 gunmen on the roof opened fire. Bullets screamed off the metal walls. The gunfight lasted less than 3 minutes before the breach team blew the door and stormed inside. Behind the steel door, the agents froze. 34 wooden crates labeled auto parts but impossibly heavy. 3 idling 18-wheelers in the yard. Hollowed-out brake and suspension systems stuffed with 112 kilos of synthetics and 47 kilos of pure cocaine ready for delivery that same night. The refrigerated compartments hid 8.6 million USD in vacuum-sealed cash buried under frozen food. Upstairs, the command center. Screens tracking dozens of trucks across 7 states and encrypted hard drive logging over 420 shipments a month, worth more than $900 million a year. This wasn't a warehouse. This was the brain of an empire. That perfect machine shattered tonight. By 5:40 in the morning, the Bakersfield raid was only the opening shot. The seized evidence revealed a network as sophisticated as any corporate supply chain, shielded by corruption and running one of the world's richest smuggling arteries. The confiscated laptop held the Western Route ledger, 182 shipments a month across 7 states, California, Nevada, Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, Colorado, Kansas, each with fixed times, ironclad encryption, and total control. California, the biggest consumption market on Earth, is the eye of the storm that's coming. CJNG isn't fumbling around America. It operates like a multinational logistics giant. The financial trail gets even darker. CJNG doesn't just pay drivers. It buys deep access inside California's system. At least 12 Border Patrol agents are now under investigation for waving trucks through without security scans. 3 local officials quietly signed off on nighttime freight permits for priority shipments that were actually sold to companies tied to the cartel. Behind the trucks and cold storage warehouses lies a complete shadow empire. 28 shell trucking companies, 14 custom shops building hidden compartments, 8 industrial freezers hiding cash and product, and a crypto laundering crew that can move millions in hours. They run 350 to 420 loads every month, so steady it disappears into normal commerce. Bakersfield was just one tiny cog in a $900 million pipeline threaded through America's interstates. CJNG didn't seize a warehouse. They seized the roads, the offices, and the very people paid to guard them. At 4:58 the next morning, a silent tension blanketed 7 U.S. states. For days, federal teams had mapped the routes, warehouses, and hidden command rooms of CJNG's industrial pipeline. Now the final order was given. The nation was about to witness one of the largest coordinated cartel takedowns in recent history, Operation Desert Veil. Across California, Nevada, Arizona, Utah, Colorado, New Mexico, and Texas, more than 5,400 agents from FBI, DEA, ICE, ATF, DHS, and local tactical units waited for the single signal. At exactly 5 o'clock, encrypted radios crackled with the go order. In Bakersfield, the first wave smashed into an abandoned freight yard, flagged as a CJNG staging point. Agents rammed the main gate with an armored truck. Gunfire erupted instantly. 3 armed guards hiding inside shipping containers opened up, forcing SWAT teams forward behind ballistic shields. The firefight lasted 53 seconds and ended with all suspects in cuffs and the building secured. Hundreds of miles away in Phoenix, the second team breached a custom shop that specialized in building secret compartments inside the cartel's rigs. Suspects tried torching fuel drums to destroy evidence. Agents hit them with flashbangs and killed the flames. Inside blueprints for 60 modified trailers, each capable of hiding tons of product. Las Vegas cold storage raid. 2 rigs smashed the gate trying to escape. Spike strips and precision fire stopped both cold. Result, 28 million USD stacked under pallets of frozen meat. Meanwhile, in El Paso, DHS cut off 3 big rigs racing for the New Mexico line. Drivers ran, sparking a high-speed chase through empty industrial roads. Another piece of the empire ripped into the open. The chase ended when agents boxed in the lead rig and pried open a welded compartment behind the engine bay, packed solid with bricks of product. By sunrise, 32 locations across 7 states had been hit simultaneously. 18 suspects dead, 73 in cuffs, 4 trucks torched by drivers trying to burn evidence before surrender. Even amid the chaos, the result was undeniable. The seamless, gleaming machine CJNG spent years perfecting had been shattered. For the first time, the cartel's industrial pipeline wasn't just exposed, it was under full assault, and federal agents were now inside its walls. If you thought the firefights were brutal, what the agents uncovered next was far darker. By 12:20 in the afternoon, they finally started peeling open the seized facilities. This wasn't some loose gang. It was a fully engineered industrial machine running with multinational precision. Port of Oakland containers labeled machine parts. When they cracked them open, 2.7 tons of synthetics, 1.1 tons of cocaine, 640,000 ecstasy pills, all wrapped in heat-resistant foil to beat the scanners. One single shipment big enough to poison an entire generation. Every crate was stamped with the same routing code linking back to the Bakersfield hub. CJNG had built a coast-to-coast supply chain that blended perfectly with everyday commerce. Inside, a second warehouse in Fresno, forensics teams found professional tool racks, welding stations, and hydraulic lifts. This was where CJNG modified trucks, adding secret compartments, fake refrigerated floors, and pressure-sealed panels capable of hiding up to 400 pounds of contraband per vehicle. If officials can be bought, who can we trust to protect the system from this criminal network? Blueprints left on the workbench revealed the next Phase 3 new facilities already planned in Phoenix, Riverside, and Albuquerque. But the most chilling discoveries came from the money rooms. In a nondescript San Bernardino office park, agents seized 31 laptops each running mirrored accounting software. The numbers told the real story. CJNG's cash moves faster than any law enforcement agency can track. Cash from California was instantly converted to crypto, split into hundreds of microtransactions, routed through Panama, Belize, and Hong Kong, vanishing within 45 minutes of a load leaving the warehouse. Even more shocking were the bribe ledgers. One spreadsheet listed monthly operating expenses, including payments to 4 California Highway Patrol officers, 2 port inspectors, and 1 senior transportation official. Payoffs ranged from $12,000 to $220,000 a month, depending on the access they sold. Some people were paid just to look away when trucks rolled outside legal hours. Las Vegas cold storage, $28 million buried under pallets of frozen seafood. Reno vacuum-sealed cash inside meat packaging, fooling drug dogs and blending into the food chain. Piece by piece, the truth emerged. CJNG didn't just use American infrastructure, it became part of it. Buying access, corrupting officials, building a logistics empire tough enough to survive any raid. For the investigators, the cold conclusion was clear: taking this network down won't be one operation. It will be a war against a system designed to look innocent right up until the moment it explodes. By 5:45 in the afternoon, hours after the coordinated strikes ended, evidence rooms in 7 states were overflowing. What the agents collected wasn't just contraband, it was the blueprint of CJNG's invisible empire. Every phone, every ledger, every sealed bundle of cash told a piece of a story far bigger than anyone expected when the first warehouse door was kicked in. The biggest shock came from the Bakersfield Command Center. Technicians cracked into a stack of 213 encrypted phones, each registered under a fake identity. Many phones held route maps showing product moving through 14 U.S. states, far beyond the original 7-state corridor. One map had pins stretching from California all the way to Illinois, proof that CJNG had quietly established a steady pipeline into the Midwest, a flow investigators didn't even know existed before the raids. Meanwhile, forensics teams cataloged the cash haul across every seized site. Federal agents recovered $82 million in physical cash, stuffed inside cold storage pallets, sealed in plastic inside toolboxes, or hidden behind false walls. Every bill was tagged, sorted, scanned, then moved to federal evidence vaults under heavy guard. But the digital evidence revealed something even more alarming. CJNG never slowed down. A hard drive pulled from a San Bernardino office held detailed plans for 3 brand new warehouses designed to restart the entire operation within 60 days. Full construction layouts, security camera grids, and projected monthly shipment schedules. They had prepared for losses, even catastrophic ones, and engineered their system to regenerate like a corporation shrugging off a temporary setback. Interrogations of low-level drivers revealed something even worse. Most had no idea they were working for CJNG. They were hired through shell staffing agencies, paid in cash, and simply told to deliver sealed cargo. The entire logistics chain was engineered to keep workers blind, harder to prosecute, impossible to flip, and almost untraceable. Agents also recovered 31 laptops running financial ledgers encrypted with symbols instead of names. Analysts spent hours matching patterns to old cases and uncovered a bribery web spanning 3 states involving port inspectors, route supervisors, and one high-ranking transportation official whose approval signature appeared on dozens of suspicious freight permits. In a Reno cold storage warehouse, investigators found a locked steel room containing nothing but servers. Once seized and cracked, those servers laid bare CJNG's long-term vision, a continental corridor linking Mexico to California, the Midwest, and the East Coast, cloaked inside legitimate trucking routes. Seized documents pegged annual cash flow at $1.2 billion. For the agents on the ground, the message was unmistakable. This wasn't one pipeline collapsing. This was an entire continental machine dragged into daylight. At 10:10 that night, as evidence trucks rolled out and final reports were filed, federal commanders felt the chill. They had shattered the surface, but not the reach. Inside Reno's server room, one encrypted file whispered the truth: the plan is still alive, and CJNG never operated alone. CJNG had quietly forged partnerships with small, low-profile motorcycle transport crews in Nevada, Colorado, and parts of Utah, not the big, flashy outlaw clubs, but splinter groups small enough to stay off law enforcement radar, yet skilled enough to move product discreetly down rural interstates. On one spreadsheet, analysts identified 17 newly contracted riders tied to these crews. Each was scheduled for rotating deliveries over the next 90 days. Their value was simple: they blend into the scenery. They look like locals, not cartel. No gang tattoos, no border crossings, no suspicious paperwork, just ordinary American riders moving domestic freight, and CJNG planned to use them to rebuild the pipeline from the inside out. Digital forensics uncovered the pivot over the past year. CJNG ditched bulk cash entirely for thousands of micro-crypto transactions, each a few $100s slipping clean through anti-money laundering nets. In just 6 weeks, $14.7 million vanished without a trace. Worse still, a disguised routing algorithm masquerading as logistics software automatically reroutes every truck every 72 hours, even when no surveillance is detected. This network doesn't just hide, it evolves so it's never caught in the same place twice. Now investigators understood why this pipeline stayed invisible for years. The most chilling discovery came from intercepted messages. Mid-level coordinators were already planning a northward push into Oregon, Idaho, and Wyoming. Endless highways with almost no patrols, rural distribution hubs that have never dealt with industrial-scale cartel logistics. Perfect targets. As night fell over the 7 states of Operation Desert Veil, federal commanders knew one thing for certain: they had just smashed the most sophisticated CJNG logistics empire ever seen on American soil. The servers, the encrypted chats, and the leftover files all whisper the same chilling truth: we shattered one machine, but the blueprint is still alive. CJNG built its empire to survive every blow. Lose one node, 3 new ones sprout faster, quieter in places no one ever expected to be infected. With paid-off officials, splinter gangs, and anonymous crypto wallets still in play, the next round will be uglier and sharper than anything we just tore open. As the last evidence truck rolled away, one fact hung in the air. This was never just about drugs. This was a parallel system that quietly took root inside our own, on our interstates, in our offices, inside the very institutions Americans were taught could never be touched. CJNG doesn't wear black suits or parade with guns. They arrive with stamps, permits, handshakes, and officials who sold their conscience cheap. For older Americans who lived through the old-school mafia, this is the bitter lesson: today's enemy isn't loud. It hides inside trucking companies, cold storage depots, and priority passes that roll at midnight. Operation Desert Veil didn't just dismantle one pipeline. It rang the alarm when corruption becomes routine crime, becomes the air we breathe. Yet it also reminds us of something greater. As long as the system can still feel shame, the darkness is forced to retreat. The war presents a particularly dark picture of the confrontation between law enforcement and a criminal organization that has industrialized its operations to the point of being virtually invisible. The story still reflects an important reality. Modern drug criminals no longer operate like the open gangs of the past, but have become logistics corporations that operate across borders, hiding within the legal system and exploiting weaknesses in people and management mechanisms. The raid was described as unprecedented in scale, with the participation of thousands of agents and many federal agencies. But what is more remarkable is the sophistication of the network that was dismantled, from hidden warehouses, refrigeration systems, converted trucks to encrypted ledgers and cryptocurrency money laundering. It shows that the war on drugs is not just a matter of arrests and seizures, but a battle between a sluggish public system and an organization as adaptable as a living organism. The account also highlights the most dangerous element: corruption. When those responsible for protecting the system are also helping criminals, the line between the legal and illegal worlds becomes blurred. This raises a big question: is a massive campaign enough, or is a deeper overhaul of ethics, oversight, and accountability needed? Ultimately, the sobering message is clear: today's criminals are not only powerful because of their violence, but because they can hide in the heart of society. Corrupt individuals emerge as the most dangerous link in the entire criminal network. They do not need to use weapons or sophisticated schemes. They only need to turn a blind eye to open the door for an entire illegal system to operate smoothly. For these people, it is not just an act of accepting bribes, but a betrayal of the roles and responsibilities that society has entrusted to them. When an officer, inspector, or transport official accepts to sell out, they not only undermine the law, but also contribute to the nurturing of crime, putting the community at greater risk. Corruption at the individual level is often considered a small violation, but in sophisticated systems such as the one described, it is the key to the survival and development of crime. Therefore, the problem lies not only in the corrupt individuals themselves, but also in the need to build a strong monitoring mechanism and a strong culture of integrity to prevent this from happening. This shocking event leaves us with a brutal lesson: modern crime no longer wears the snarling face of the past. It hides perfectly behind the mask of legitimate business, slipping into the system through permits and shipments that look harmless. Indifference to red flags is the golden ticket that lets evil spread right under our noses. Never assume crime is far away. It could be running next door the moment we lose vigilance and the courage to question what doesn't add up. Operation Desert Veil has ended, but this silence is only the calm before a far bigger storm. Right now, while you're watching this video, that underground empire has already triggered its regeneration protocol, crypto cash, ghost drivers, and untouched rural routes no one's ever watched. The machine didn't die. It's simply molting into something sleeker and harder to catch. Do you still believe justice can win when the roots of crime have burrowed into the very places meant to protect us? If you want us to keep ripping open the classified files on this terrifying resurgence, comment the word truth below right now. Don't forget to like and subscribe, because the next chapter will reveal secrets so dark no one will want to believe they're real.